Alright, good afternoon guys. We are back again with another World of Warships video. And in today's video we are checking out the Tier 7 Jervis, fun little British destroyer. This is a line that I would highly recommend if you are a new player and you're kind of looking for your first destroyer line. The British destroyers are a fantastic option right now in the current meta of the game. As you see the matchmaking here, we are in a Tier 9 game. There's 4 Tier 9s and a Tier 8 destroyer on each team, and the rest are Tier 7. This is pretty common now in Tier 7. What used to be the God tier matchmaking tier has now become the Tier 9 fodder tier, since all the Tier 10s kind of go play their own game. Alas, this is what we're working with. But as I was saying, the British destroyers are very good right now in the game. They're very solid. They are a great mix of guns and torpedoes and concealment. You can contest caps with them. You can go off and do your own thing. And one of the things that really makes them good in the meta of aircraft carriers and whatnot is the high amount of smokes you get. You get a lot of smoke charges, but they're on a short cooldown and a short duration. So you can consistently have a smoke available to get out of trouble. It allows you to play more aggressive, and it also allows you to hide from planes. So this is a line that is worth going down, and we're going to see the beginning of the line where it kind of really starts picking up, which is here at the Tier 7 Jervis. So we'll probably be playing down these whole ships. I'll probably go ahead and get to Daring at some point. For reference, the captain I'm running on the ship is a 19-point captain, and it does have like what you would build for Daring, which is including IFHE. So the ship is going to be able to pin 25 millimeters of armor. It's not required. You get 19 without IFHE, which is enough to pin other destroyers. But when you get to Jutland and Daring, you have to run IFHE. And this is all going to change when the IFHE rework hits, but it's not going to be for a while. So just if you're watching the video and wondering what I'm doing, this is pretty much a like survivability destroyer build with your concealment expert, your health increase and whatnot. But we are running BFT for the guns, and we're also running IFHE. Anyway, onto the game itself. We're going to the B cap. As a destroyer player, whenever you're going to the middle and you spawn in the middle, there's two things I consider. Number one, how many destroyers are on my team? There's three. I have Mahan and Kagera with me, and it looks like we're going A, B, C. So I'm at least going to go try to contest B. Number two, I start looking for is, hey, what do I have as far as support goes? Do I have a lot of people following me? Is my team just going to split off to the flanks? Because they're going to do that, then I'm not really going to worry about it. Um, I'm not going to really try to contest the cap if I don't have anybody with me. But this Drake is following me. There's a Soyuz behind me and a Miyoko nearby. So, as most times I do when I'm playing a destroyer, I usually come into caps and I'm kind of careful about how I enter. Now, in the matchmaking in this game, there's only one radar cruiser, and the three destroyers we're up against are a Benson, a Mahan, and an Akatsuki. So, none of them are terrifying, but none of them I exactly know I can absolutely stomp in a gunfight. So I'm going to be careful. Now, I enter the cap and kind of turn immediately. See how I did that? And I'm kind of the broadside right now, but so far the cap is not contested, so I know that there's no one really close by to me. If the cap was contested, I'd probably already be angled out. But the theory here is I want to be able to spot the cap. I don't want to drive in and let's say go to that island to my right. I don't want to do that, because then if I do that, I'm not spotting for my team. I'm being aware of my surroundings. I'm seeing one enemy destroyer already in A, so I can check that off my mental list of what destroyers I can still possibly see in the cap, which means I'm going to see either the Mahan or the Benson. Just little things you got to be aware of when you're playing a destroyer. But again, the cap's not being contested, so I'm going to keep spotting for my team until I am shot back. And in this case, I could smoke. I could simply choose to disengage. But if I want to disengage, I can just drive away. I don't have to turn and then drive out of the cap and put myself in more risk than I need to, because I've already pre-turned. If there are caps with islands around the cap, I like to angle where I can use the island to escape if I get radared, or if a couple ships open up on me out of the blue, I can just out of there, no problem. But anyway, we cap B, and it appears that the enemy doesn't really have much interest in capping the middle, so that's fine. We're going to go ahead and we're going to head off to C right now. I kind of chose C because it looked like more of the enemy team was at C. I see 4 ships going to A. I see at least 6 ships already in C, and I can already know that there's at least 7 because there's at least 1 destroyer in C because it's being contested. So I'm going to go ahead and open up on the Surrey at longer range. I have some islands nearby, and no ships on the enemy team can really see me or shoot me right now, so it's a chance to get in a few shots with your guns. These shots are always worth taking, even if you're not getting... am I going to do a ton of damage? No, but I could get a nice fire, and hey, it might, some of these cruisers in the mid-tiers that don't have heals, that's a big deal. They're going to burn for a little bit of damage, and they can't just repair that damage right back. So there's no reason to not take those little opportunities when you see them. But I'm going into this cap, and I've got to be thinking about what the current situation is. Now look at the mini-map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I can probably guess the Benson's here, too, since he's not really up there at A. It hasn't been spotted yet at A. So most of their team is here, and we have 3, 4, 5 ships with me, roughly, and this Miyoko to my left is about to get murdered. I would like to go over there and smoke him, but one of the few drawbacks of these British destroyers is they're not very fast. This thing's only about 35 knots. 37, I think if you just let it go straight, you'll get up to about 37. But they're not very fast. I can't get to him in time, so that guy's dead, is what it is. But we want to delay and defend this cap as long as we can, but we can't be too aggressive. So both the destroyers smoked up. There's 2 separate smoke clouds. You can see the divide there in the middle. So I know both destroyers are here. I know that Benson just smoked, and I see this York. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to torp this smoke. That's all I really want to do in this case. I want to delay the cap as long as I can, which is what I'm doing. But I've got to be careful. If I'm spotted in this situation, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships I can see they're going to shoot me, and then 2 more in these smoke clouds are going to shoot me. So I'm going to have 7 ships opening up on me. Even with a smoke, it only takes like 3 seconds, and you could have a lot of shells on you. But hey, I'm dropping my torps, and I'm getting out of there. We have 7-kilometer torps on the ship, and there's 10 of them. And they're on a kind of a longer cooldown, but they are pretty solid. 7 kilometers isn't outstanding, but it is nice because you do have that 6.3 kilometer concealment with the concealment build, so you get to stealth torp a little bit. I basically turned in there and then turned away, and basically I waited till I knew my torps were going to clear that smoke, shot them and turned away, because again, I want to play this safe, and this was risky because the York could have hydroed, but I just kind of guessed that maybe he didn't have it or whatever. And we wound up getting 2 torp hits on the York. We don't hit the destroyer that was in there, but we get the torp hits in the York. Now, I want to keep farming the York, but the Benson's appeared. And guys, shooting destroyers is so important. Now, look at how long we're going to be shooting without being shot back by anyone except this Benson. This Benson's team should have been lighting me up. And look at our priority target. No one's even got their guns pointed at us, besides the Benson at times. And we're just going to shoot him, HE shells. AP could be used in this situation. Jervis does have very good AP, which we'll see shortly. But it's about the same, honestly. You can use it to break his modules, break his engines, the HE we're shooting, so not too bad. But, we're still shooting because nobody shoots us back until now. The Colorado lands a couple shells. But, I just really didn't feel threatened here. And now I'm going to try to get to the island, and I'm not going to get undetected before I get to the island. So there's no point to not just keep shooting and see if I can get a fire or something on the Colorado. We're up to 36,000 damage. We had those 2 torpedo hits earlier and a couple gun hits. I know the Benson is sailing from left to right here towards B. And we're going to redetect him here with our Miyoko to back us up. So we get a couple more shots on him, and we traded pretty efficiently with that Benson. He's below below a quarter health, and we are still, looking pretty good at about 12,000. So those little trades you make through the game with other enemy destroyers can be a big deal. We can still get our guns in this Colorado, so I'm going to take a few more pot shots over the island while I have the cover. Again, taking advantage of the situation, of the terrain, if I've got a minute. And I'm also delaying the cap for a few more seconds. They're going to get the cap. It's kind of, our team kind of gave up on it, which wasn't a bad idea. They did have a majority of their ships here. I was hoping we were going to delay long enough for the A cap to get their act together, but they kind of got wrecked too. But overall, we're not looking too bad. The ship count's even. It's 8 to 8. We have 1 cap. They're about to have 2. And this Surrey just pops up out of nowhere. Ah, crap. But this is what's nice. We had a smoke right there. We haven't used one yet, but even if we had smoked earlier, we'd still have our smoke ready. We're going to go ahead and throw our torps out on this guy. I'm going to throw a set out and see what he does if he beaches, but we're going to open up with AP. You're going to see the Jervis AP do some work right here. And I want to go ahead, and I waited a second, and I decided I want to get my other torp set out before the Miyoko got in front of me. And now we're going to wear this guy out with some AP. See the 3,400 damage salvo? That's a big hit for AP. 2,700 more. And as long as he gives us this kind of profile, this AP is tearing him up. 1,600. This is really good stuff. And when you get cruisers that give you broadside like this, it's absolutely worth using. We're going to go ahead and switch back to HE because now he's turned away, and I know he's going to stay turned away because he has to dodge my torpedoes. My torpedoes basically put him on rails, and he has to drive, in a straight line. And we'll get some more damage on him, and this is where the IFHE is nice because I probably could have pinned this guy without IFHE on my ship. I would have only been doing damage to his superstructure and causing fires. But thankfully, my Miyoko was there to help me out with that guy. And although we didn't land any torps, we had some good AP damage in, and we got him out of the fight. And that was kind of a surprise to see him there, but it is what it is. So our Mahan goes down to the enemy team's Gneisenau, And right now, we're still looking okay as far as ships go. It's about even. But our Friedrich here is not looking too hot. We're going to try to smoke this guy. I don't always like to smoke battleships, but, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I figured he was probably dead, but I was going to go ahead and make an attempt for him. And this is what's nice about the smokes. Hey, you know, I blow on for my teammate. It looked like I killed him right here, and I got worried. I thought I was pinked, but it wasn't quite the case. But, you know, hey, it's one smoke. I don't think I'm going to need another one for a minute, and it's no big deal. I tried to slow down to see if I could get another smoke puff and then farm in it, but we're not really that lucky, and I'm not going to waste my time backing up and trying to get back into the smoke. I'm trying to pay attention right now to see who's really looking at me or who's able to shoot me. I kind of want to torp the Gneisenau now, but he's nose in, and I don't really think I'm going to have a good angle on him, so I'm just going to go ahead and steal a couple shots and get behind this island. So I shoot one salvo, fire. It's free damage. Either he repairs it and we burn his repair party, or he doesn't and we get free damage. So no reason not to take those opportunities when you get them. And then I go ahead and shoot one more salvo at that Mahan, but he disappears behind the island. Now I'll turn my attention to B, because right now we're pretty much attempting to hold off the enemy team that's pushing in. The ship count is still about the same. We're slightly ahead on points, and we did wind up getting the A cap. Our team up there finally got their stuff together. So now we're going to try to see if we can torp this team pushing in from C. We have the Musashi coming in. I'm going to go ahead and lay out some torps on him, because if he does sail into this cap, he's going to probably need to sail through those. On second thought, the first salvo I launched there should have been basically right up to that island's edge, and I kind of gave him a little bit too much room. You see that last torp in the first salvo should have been over a few more inches, because basically if I'm torping that alleyway, I should have covered as much real estate as I could, and instead I kind of gave him a little bit of an out there, so that was a misplay on my part. But, you know, it's slowed him down a lot, and it's forcing him to kind of turn into my team a little bit. And right now, I don't really need to shoot him just yet, as I need to kind of help out and see what's going on. I got 3 ships right here. They can deal with the Musashi. I want to see if I can go maybe help my Sovietsky Soyuz a little bit and just kind of spot and just sort of see what I need to do for my team. We have 2 caps. I don't need to be aggressive. I'm going to take a few pot shots at this Mahan. No one else seems to be interested in shooting him. He's about to smoke up. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a few free shots on him. But he has disappeared into a smoke cloud, and now I get to do the same thing. I get to disappear into my smoke cloud and farm this guy a little bit. I was a little late on the smoke, but I kind of figured the Musashi was going to waste them big guns on me. It would help my team out. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can put some AP on him. Again, this British AP is pretty good. We're getting that upper belt. We're aiming pretty much right at the top of his deck. Don't aim at the waterline, because you're going to hit the really thick part of the armor and you won't get any damage. But in the upper belt, you can get a little bit of damage here and there. And this isn't massive damage, but it's a little bit. You know, 1,000 a salvo every couple seconds is nothing to completely ignore. And I know my HE has no chance of pinning his armor. So other than fires, you know, I'm kind of just trying to get what damage in I can. I go ahead and switch to HE because I realized he wasn't on fire. I'm trying to pay attention to their Mahan so I don't get torped on my smoke, and pay attention to this Musashi, so I'm kind of doing double duty. I should have switched to HE as soon as the fire went out on his ship. But we're going to keep shooting right now because this guy needs to get out of the fight. He is one of the biggest threats left to my team, because Musashi is a tier 10 for all intents and purposes, as it just wrecks our sign-up. I know it's a tier 9 technically, but this ship is basically a tier 10. Tier 10 guns, tier 10 armor, tier 10 health. It's a tier 10, folks. So I don't want these big Yamato guns in the fight anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and make kind of an aggressive play here to keep shooting and help my team get this guy out of the fight. Because you see now, it's 4 ships to 5, and one of them's a freaking Musashi. And again, our quick smokes, we can smoke right back up. We take a little bit of damage from the Gneisenau, but we smoke right back up. And again, we are able to, get out of sight and be able to farm a little bit more. I need to be careful because there's a destroyer still in the game. So I can't be too comfortable hanging out in the smoke and then wind up getting caught with my pants down and get torped. But we do get a fire on the Gneisenau, and we're going to push him back out of the fight for now. We see the Mahan out there at about 8k, so I'm going to go ahead and make a turn, and I'm going to play this pretty aggressive right here. The Gneisenau went behind an island, the Colorado is pretty far out, the Miyoko's behind an island, so I feel pretty safe right here about trying to go out here and finish this Mahan. So he's unfortunately turning away, and the Jervis does not have great shell velocity. And as I try to do that, the Soyuz decides he's going to murder him for me. And now this game got a lot more comfortable. The last destroyer's out of the fight. These 2 battleships aren't much of a threat. I'm going to use this island to shoot the Colorado as much as I can. Get more free damage. And that's kind of what we're doing here. You see how as he moves, I move. I'm just keeping the island between us. Now, I waited a little too long on moving, and I let him spot me for a second. But we just speed up, and we're going to go right back behind the island. And without his teammates to help spot me, not too much he can do. And IFHE is going to do work on that 25mm plating on the tier 7 ships. The thing about IFHE on this ship is you will get good damage against battleships of your tier. But if you wind up getting up tier to tier 9 and 10, or 8 and 9 rather, and you fight some of the higher tier battleships with 32mm plating, you're not going to get a lot of damage in. So I would be getting a lot more shatters if he was a North Carolina or an Iowa. But he is not, and he is dead. And with that, folks, there's only one thing left to do. Go YOLO Torp Rush like an Eisenhower. Our Hydro's up right now. I popped it when I was in my smoke in case the Mahan torped me. But we're spotting the Eisenhower through the island, and at 2.5 kilometers, the only thing I have to worry about with him is the torps, and we're going to kill him before that happens. So we're going to end this game with a little over 109,000 damage. We're going to be first place on our team. We wind up with 2,400 base XP. We defended the caps well. We played smart. We played aggressive when we could. We used our smoke star advantage. And our single launch torps when you need to are great. And that is the Jervis, folks. It's a great little ship, and it's a great line. So get to it.